Hello everyone and welcome back to the workbench, where today we're going to be taking a look at this, the 1/48 scale F86F Sabre from Academy. This kit I got online and it's quite a nice kit actually. I've had a little look inside the box previous to this video, but today we're going to be taking a look inside the kit and what we've got, having a look at the decals, sprue and box imagery. So join me on the workbench as we take a look inside this. So, our first thing to look at then is the box, and the box art's quite nice. I think this depicts the Korean War here. I believe that's a MiG-15. They're being, assumably, shot down by the F86F here. Only one livery did come in this kit. It's the Huff, which is this aircraft here, which is FU897. So presumably, this is only one livery in this aircraft, but it's quite a nice one actually, quite an interesting livery. We've got that as yellow bands, as well as that checkered tail. Looks quite interesting, as well as that nose art. So we'll take a look at this side of the box, and we can see some images of the aircraft complete, or the model complete. And we've got some information as well here that we have compartment underwing stores included, as well as detailed landing gear and all that lovely stuff. And yeah, as you can see here, some nice images of the aircraft completed. It looks quite nice in its completed form. As you can see there, it appears we actually get an engine cover for when it's on the ground, which is quite interesting. You don't really tend to see that very often with kits. That's quite interesting. And on the side here, as you can see, we've just got the basic information. Not much to see there. And then on the top, again, it's the same as the bottom with this highly detailed interior landing gear and all that lark there, as well as some English text, and which is just basically explaining what a model kit is, and obviously in other languages as well. So we've got a little warning sticker up here, and another image of the finished product, and just warning us that it doesn't include glue, things like that. So basically a fairly standard box for a kit like this. Now the reason it's so damaged is because I bought this on Vinted. I actually got this second hand from Vinted, which is quite an interesting place actually to get your model kits from. You can get some good deals on there from people that don't really do modelling, and then receive them as presents, that kind of thing, and they sell them for quite cheap. So I got this kit for just £10, which is actually pretty good going for a 1/48 scale kit of this size. Anyways, let's take a look inside the box then. Let's get this thing open and see what we've actually got in here. So as you can see here, we've got our sprues. They're all nicely wrapped in plastic. And as you can see, we've got quite a few screws, and they're also quite large. There we go, there's the fuselage itself. And apparently, oh, hello. Apparently, this is part of the 1/48 scale Russian aircraft series, or maybe that's just an advertisement for it. As you can see here, we've got some already cut decals out here, but they are cartograph decals, which is nice. However, we'll get onto that in a minute. I can't get this out for some reason. So yeah, that's the back of the box then. Just kind of advertising some of the other aircraft available from Academy. But yeah, that's all that is. So let's take a look at the paperwork then. We've got a instruction sheet here, which seemingly isn't printed in colour. That's not too big of a deal, to be fair, because I don't think this is any painting instructions in here. I'm assuming not. Oh, hello. So it opens outwards like this, and I think it's two-sided. Yeah, it's two-sided. We start here with the pilot and the engine, and we move along, and it appears that the fuselage is put together in two halves. Is that what this is saying? This is confusing. Or we can have it in two halves. That is very strange. I'm not actually sure what that's trying to tell us. I have to have a look into that, but that is a very interesting instruction. It's telling us we can cut the thing apart, possibly. Strange. Okay. Moving on then, we've also just got all this. We've got the a lot of internal detail actually. So something I've noticed. You've got the engine is all modelled and detailed on the inside, as well as things like these guns here, which are then put internally. So I'm assuming you can actually have some of the panels open with the ability to see inside the aircraft, which is something I might do if that's a bit available to us. But we'll have to look into that for sure. And then obviously some little details here, some little bits. You can have the air brakes open here is what it's telling us. And then there's also the external fuel tanks and its storage tanks and some bombs. And then, oh, I see, right. Wow, that's quite interesting, look. So you can have the aircraft being put together, so you can take the rear of the fuselage off and have it on a little trolley. I wonder if that's included in the kit, that trolley. It wouldn't surprise me if it isn't. That's quite cool, actually. I did not realise that when I first looked at this kit. So yeah, you can take the front off and have it doing maintenance, or like some kind of engine maintenance on the ground. That's quite interesting. And look, yeah, you've got to build the trolley up. And that's something that I might do, actually. That's really interesting. You can have a little diorama going on there. That's really cool. Very cool indeed. So yeah, that's the instructional sheet. It's not in colour, but that in this case doesn't really matter. That's not really a big deal in this situation. So let's move on to the painting instructions, which for some reason we've got two of. I've realised now, with quite a few kits, I keep getting just two sets of painting instructions. Not really sure why. We'll just look at this one. I think they're in different languages in some kits, but I don't think that's the case here. I think they are just in the same language. I'm not really sure what the difference is. And these aren't in colour either, which is a little bit more of a problem now, but to be fair, it's not too big of a deal. As you can kind of use the box art as a reference, really, but there's just some yellow bands around some certain places, and then that checkered pattern on the tail. Nicely detailed, and obviously you've got all the lots of little decals here. And there's quite a few decals on this. This is quite a complicated paint scheme. So let's move on then to the decals themselves. For some reason, I seem to have two sets of decals. We saw some of them loose in the box a minute ago, but this is the full sheet here. For some reason, it came with a bunch extra. I guess it's maybe because I bought it online. I'm not really sure, but it came with extra stuff. So I don't know. These are printed by Cartograph, as we can see in one of the, down there on the bottom. So these should be to a pretty high standard, as you usually see with Cartograph themselves. Obviously, they look fairly similar to, or fairly standard. So the decals themselves look fairly standard for Cartograph. They are pretty thin, pretty good looking. They should be nice. The details are really good. If it will focus, you can see that all that text is fairly legible. The only complaint I have is there is so many of them, which might take quite a bit of time to do, but they're huge. Look at these decals, they're actually very big, which is going to be interesting to apply these. I think some of the bands might be difficult. I think this one here is going to be really difficult to apply, as well as these fin mounted checkered patterns. But we'll see how it goes, I assume. So let's move on to the actual plastic then, the real fun stuff with this kit. Okay, so there is a lot of plastic here indeed, as you can see. So we'll take a look at this first. These two are identical. This is sprue F. You've got the guns, you've got your underslung rocket pods and bombs and external fuel tanks and all of that. And they are both identical, so I'm assuming there's one for each wing. I've just got the wheels on there as well, so probably one for each wing. In here, we've got the fuselage halves. These are printed to quite a nice standard, and I'm assuming that's where you're going to cut them if you're going to do that kind of half and half diorama type thing, which, as you can see, has left a little bit of a seam mark here, or like a flow mark on the kit, but that's not too big of a deal. I'm sure if you paint over it, it won't be too visible. Then we've got these little engine details down here, nice and big, and flash overall seems to be minimal, which is nice. The mold quality is nice and good. We do feature recessed panel lines as well, as you can see here, which is very nice, although they might be a little bit too deep. We'll have a look, we'll see how that goes, I'm assuming, when we build it. And then we've got these two wing halves, which kind of come together anyways when they come in the model. And these are actually quite big. This is bigger than I thought the F86 was, but there you go. We've got the underside of the wing and the tops of the wings, respectively. And yeah, the plastic seems a little thin in places. However, it seems overall to be to a good quality. Then we'll take a look at the bigger sprues then. And we've got all sorts of here. We've got the pilot, who appears to be standing, which is strange. And then you've got his legs here. So I'm assuming that if you want the pilot to be sat, you maybe have to build him? Or do you have to do surgery and cut his legs off and put him in? I'm not quite sure. But as you can see, yeah, look, he's standing up right now. And then you've got arms and in different positions. So there's a bit of play value, I'm assuming. Then I'm guessing this is for maybe the maintenance diorama. You could have the pilot standing next to the plane, possibly, and then I'm assuming, but you have to do a little bit of surgery to get him sat down, which is an interesting choice there from Academy. Here we've got the trolley type configuration, or this trolley arrangement where the back of the aircraft is mounted on. And the only issue I have with that diorama, from what I could see, there was no way of mounting the front half or holding the front half up, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. However, yeah, if you want to do the back half, this is how you do it, obviously with this trolley. Here we've got the main engine, or the exhaust of the engine, as well as our kind of cockpit arrangement, and that's, I'm assuming, the front landing gear bay. So it looks pretty intuitive to come together, to be fair. It doesn't look too hard at all. And then obviously some more internal details here. And overall, this is quite good quality for Academy. I've seen some Academy kits that are less than this quality, that's for sure. So yeah, that's a pretty good kit overall. I'm quite excited to build that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That's pretty much everything from me. If you feel like it, do consider subscribing. It's free to do and it does help me out a ton. As you can probably tell, I'm quite a new channel, so every little bit of support does really help. And I hope that I gave you a bit of an insight inside of the kit then. Let me find the box of this. The 1/48 scale US Air Force F86, the Huff from Academy. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the garage next time. Thank you.